Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, City College of San Jose del Monte. So today we have another new webinar. Diba? Yesterday, we were able to watch Doc Mike while he discussed to us how to decode the modules. So today we'll be having our very own Vice President for Academic Affairs, and he will be sharing with us how we can reshape the way we learn through flexible asynchronous remote e-learning. Okay, so while waiting for the others to join, let me make some announcements. Okay, so next week, that's August 24, we'll be starting to see each other so you can get your modules, get to know your advisors and your teachers for the semester. Okay, so we'll do it by batch, by program. So Monday until Friday, except Wednesday, because that's a college rest day. Okay, so we'll be posting some more announcements through our Facebook page. So just keep on updating yourself. Okay, so I think we're ready to begin. So again, let me introduce to you our speaker for today. Okay, he's our Vice President for Academic Affairs, and he will be talking about reshaping the way we learn through flexible asynchronous remote e-learning. So City Collegians, help me in welcoming virtual claps, virtual hugs, virtual kisses to our Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Roger S. Ambida.
Okay. Thank you very much,
Good
Professor
afternoon, Doc.
Grace. Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Professor Grace. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, City College of San Jose del Monte. Faculty, members, and students alike. A pleasant afternoon to everyone. I'm glad to be here in this wonderful way of sharing our inputs or insights on the way how we are going to reshape education for the new normal. I am happy to share with you some inputs on how we can reframe or restructure the way how we are going to deal with our first semester for this academic year 2020-2021 with the help of the very able Professor Grace Mariscotes and of course the other faculty members of the City College. I am very glad to join you here for this afternoon session. Reshaping the way we learn through flexible asynchronous remote e-learning will be our mode of deployment, our default mechanism as we transition to the new normal. Next slide, please. Okay. Okay. Allow me to share with you my screen. Okay. Oh, this is indeed a very typical scenario where sharing of the screen or PowerPoint is challenged. So welcome again to this session. We are today we are going to share with you some tips on how we are going to reshape education by the use of the flexible asynchronous remote e-learning. Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello, my dear faculty members, my dear colleagues in the City College, and for those students also are watching us today, to our parents, guests, friends. I am happy to be with you again this afternoon. I am just having hard time seeing the screen. I need help. I cannot see the screen. I cannot see the PowerPoint. Apologies for this technical challenges. Okay, there you go. Yeah, where are we coming from? Yeah, we are in this era where our situation is driven by a lot of factors. We have now the internet, the vast data revolution. We have the Generation Z, and of course, the very unprecedented situation that brought us to this kind of scenario now is COVID-19. All this do we consider as our drivers of change. Next, please. And known to us, the impact of COVID-19 are the following. Some of them are here stipulated. There was a sudden shift from residential or the in-class learning to distance or remote learning. And what happened to learning in the last semester? There was suspended momentum. Teachers had the challenges converting lessons for online delivery because at the time, the default mode was face-to-face classes. Communication became very challenging. Classroom monitoring and assessment have been problematic as well. Since we have been detached from the residential learning, we went to remote or the distance learning, in which we have also encountered a lot of issues. And even until now, we are still encountering issues. Mental health issues is prevalent, are prevalent or became prevalent. And of course, infected stakeholders. There were some of the community members who got infected of the COVID-19. Next slide, please. Yeah. But of course, even with this one, we have to sustain learning. Learning has to continue even amidst the pressing situation. Learning has to continue even with the very problematic situation that we have. We can learn in so many ways. We can learn in different ways, even in the absence of the physical interactions or with the physical classroom. Learning has to be sustained. Next, please. And that is why even with the situation that we have now, your teachers, the city college academic community has to make sure that your education has to continue and learning has to be made still meaningful and relevant for all of you. It is said that learning is a personal activity. What do we mean by this? Meaning that it is just like chewing your food. You cannot duplicate that. When we say learning as a personal activity, it is customized individually. There will be no two persons who will have the same learning style or learning habit. Each one has a different way of doing the thing. The teacher may provide the same activity, but each student may have different way of doing the task. That is what is meant of personal activity. Again, it is just like chewing your food or combing your hair or just like talking. No one can exactly duplicate the way how you do it. Okay. In the article published in the New Social Learning by Tony Bingham and Maria Corner, they have emphasized that learning is a transformation process. Take note, it is a transformation process of taking in information that, when internalized and mixed with what we have experienced, changes what we know and builds on what we do. Learning is based on input, process, and reflection. That's what changes us. I would like to emphasize transformation process. Learning is intended to transform us. It is intended for to make us better. In fact, just to enhance that, when internalized, meaning that what we get from our teachers, from our environment, from the learning environment, we have to internalize that. And we have to mix that with our previous experiences, and that would make us, and that would lead us to transformation. In the last statement, in the last sentence, it is said that learning is based in input. There's an input. There are the information. There is the information given to you by the teachers or by anyone in the learning environment, and we process that. And from there on, we reflect on what would it do to me? What would your lesson in algebra, for example, do to you? What would that activity given to you by your teacher in ethics would do to you? We reflect on that. And then if we blend all of those things or components into one, and and we feel that there is transformation on us, that is what we call learning. And it will lead us to change. But of course, a change would be intended for the better. That is what you call transformation. Okay. So, with some sense of flexibility, and being guided also by Commission on Higher Education, in this situation, since learning has to continue and we have to sustain learning, we got the advisory from, of course, the Commission on Higher Education that says during the period of quarantines, whether we are ECQ, MACQ, or GCQ, HEIs, which City College belong, shall continue to exercise their judgment in the deployment of available flexible learning and other alternative modes of delivery in lieu of the in-campus learning, if they have the resources to do so. The exercise of discretion by the higher education institution and their faculty must be reasonable, transparent, and outcomes-based, validated. So I would like to highlight the term flexible learning because we have picked this up and coined the kind of modality that we will be using in the deployment of our teaching and learning experiences for this semester particularly, and other alternative modes of delivery. The exercise of discretion of the HEI and the faculty must be reasonable. So what is reasonable? It should be acceptable to both faculty and the students, and of course to the members of the Board of Trustees. Transparent. You should know what you will be doing. That is why you have to undergo some, and you have undergone some orientations, what we will be doing, what kind of mode we are going to use, and of course, what kind of LMS are we going to use, and it should be outcomes based validated. We are guided by this framework. Okay. Okay, flexible learning. Many have been hearing the term flexible learning as it is now one of the bywords of today's era. Remember that it is the design and delivery of programs, courses, and interventions that addresses learners' unique needs in terms of pace, place, process, and products of learning. It means that when we say flexible learning, the students can engage themselves in the teaching and learning activities, whether they are in the rooms in the respective comfort, or they are also in the workplace, or they are outside of their house or homes. They can access the materials and they can connect with their teachers, whether face to face, virtually, or whether they can do that one asynchronously. It is where the modality for teaching and learning for the City College has been anchored with. That is why we have come up with a very unique and a very City College framework of deploying its teaching and learning modalities or activities for this academic year. And we term that one as our the flexible, asynchronous, remote e-learning. So I hope that everybody in the City College would understand this one and would know this one by heart. For those who have attended, the orientation has been exposed already to this. And for those who have not yet attended the orientation, and this is the first time you have heard of this one, remember the FAReL. This is our framework. It is the flexible asynchronous, and attached with that one is the synchronous. It is remote, and we employ e-learning here. What does FAReL stand for, or what are the features of the FAReL? Allow me to continue. When we say flexible, we can teach or we can engage into teaching and learning activity anytime, anywhere. And whether you have internet connection or you have limited connection, or even with you don't have internet connection at all, you can still continue or engage with the learning activity that the teacher is giving you. If we say asynchronous, of course, that's the opposite of synchronous activity. Synchronous activity is a face-to-face interaction, whether virtual or not virtual. While asynchronous occurs through online channels without real-time interactions. Like, for example, if this is recorded and this is posted on your FB group, those who were unable to watch this, and even you, those who are watching it now, can still watch this material later or at your own sweet time. That is asynchronous. In the modality of City College, it will be a combination of synchronous activity and asynchronous activity. Your advisors will be further orienting you on this one as regards to your schedule for holding synchronous session and of course the asynchronous activities. And even the manner you will submit to your teachers, your tasks, the learning tasks will be discussed further when your teachers will conduct your orientation, online orientation on August 20, and when they meet you physically at the City College starting August 24. FAReL is also an example of remote learning. Why do we say remote? If we say remote learning, the teacher and the learner are detached. They are separated by time and distance. They are not together. But again, it does not limit the teacher and the learner to be engaged with one another. And another feature of the FAReL is the e-learning. Why e-learning? It's because the learners receive digitized or digital material, whether online or offline. You will also receive not non-digital materials such as your modules. In fact, as announced earlier by Professor Mariscotes, your modules will be given to you during the time that you meet your teachers or your advisors at the campus during the first and the last meeting for the academic or for the semester. So the features of the FAReL are number one, it's flexible. Number two, it is asynchronous and synchronous. Number three, it is remote. It can be delivered remotely and it employs e-learning. Again, whether you have internet connectivity, you have strong internet connectivity or moderate connectivity, it will not be a reason for you not to be connected to your teachers and to your classmates. Now, we are making it sure that no one is left out, no one is left behind. That is why, if you are going to take a look with this framework that we have, focusing on the center, you have at the middle, rather, the City College of San Jose del Monte, FAReL. It is the kind of education that we are adapting now, or modality that we are adapting now. It is a combination of the residential, and of course, in the other side, it's an open or distance education. Suppose there will be opportunity for us to go back to the campus or meet once a semester. That is what we call residential or the face-to-face provisions. This is the time that you will meet physically or personally your teachers. It is non-wired, but of course, it is led always by your teacher. Now, on the right circle or component, you have the open and the distance learning. It is computer aided. It can be, others will term it as wired or online provisions because you are connected to the internet. you use the learning packs or learning package or the learning modules that we will be using, and you will be given copies of those. They can be printed or non-printed materials, and it is self-paced. If we say self-paced, you can accomplish the task at your own time, provided that submissions of of the tasks will be in sync with the deadlines that your teacher and you have agreed. That is why the first meeting will be very crucial, because your teacher will give you the terminal outputs, your projects, and the other deliverables that you need to accomplish for that particular week or for that particular month or for that particular semester. So that at your own pace, you will have your own timeline, how you are going to accomplish these tasks. Again, I would like to suggest that you manage to attend the first and the last physical meeting with your teachers and your advisors at the campus, because this will be a very significant moment for you to be able to meet your teachers and get some guidelines and guidance as regards to the deployment of the teaching and learning tasks. Aside from the fact that there will be a pilot of the orientation that will be done virtually on August 20, and that is Thursday of next week. Caution that the orientation is just to be held once a semester, because the situation would not allow us to conduct at least a very regular physical meeting. But of course, for this one, we request that you see your teachers at least once before the opening of the semester. This will also be the time for you to be able to get your learning modules and of course the other learning supplementary materials. So remember this one, the FAReL, it's a combination of the residential and the open or distance learning engagements. Now, the question is, how do we enhance and sustain learning amid the COVID-19 situation? My dear colleagues and our dear students and our viewers, this is not just true to City College. In order for us to sustain and survive this situation, we have to learn, continue learning, get our experiences from this one, and make those experiences as a way for us to enhance how we do our thing. Of course, we cannot do any more the things we have been doing in the past when we were doing activities in the classroom physically. Now we have to learn from that. And of course, at the same time, we have to adapt. One good characteristic of human beings is that we are adaptable. It has been proven over the years in many situations that we have been into, that we were able to get by those situations. And this situation surely will just give us opportunity to be more adaptable. Adapting is being flexible, as our FAReL is attuned to that. So if there is no internet connectivity, don't worry. There is the module where you can still continue learning. If you do not have the Zoom account, don't worry. You have the FB Messenger that can connect you to your group mates, to your classmates, and to your teacher. If you cannot do, if you cannot join the synchronous session because at that time you were having activity at home, you were given tasks by your parents, or you were doing your online business then, oh, don't worry. That recorded synchronous session can be uploaded or will be uploaded by your teacher in your Google Classroom. And you can access that anytime you want. And learn to evolve. Evolving is learning. We have to grow out of this situation. The learnings, the adaptation mechanisms that we will get in this very situation that we have now will make us grow. And in growing, we are evolving. We level up the way how we do our thing. If before we were not we were not too serious with the way how we deal with our tasks in the classroom, now maybe it's time for us to grow. You evolve, no? You improve, no? You level up, no? Or you step up the way how we do our thing. And allow me to share with you some 5 insights where we can get out of this uh, challenging situations. If COVID-19 has given us challenges, especially in education, it has also given us some takeaways. It has provided us some takeaways, as you could see on the screen. Number one is we have to get the most out of new and existing technology. I bet during the time that there was a sudden shift from residential to online learning, all of us were shocked. Others would do not have good internet connectivity. Others were only having data for them to connect with Messenger and Facebook. But the interesting note here is we were able to get by. We were able to finish the term. If you don't have the smartphone, make use of other ways how you can get hold of that technology and still continue to learn and continue to deliver the task that your teachers are requesting or requiring from you. Get the most of the new and existing technology. Over this pandemic period, we learned so many things. We learned to use many platforms. Before, we just know how to use like this kind of technology. But now, I am very sure you were able to learn many forms of platforms that you can use to uh, maximize learning. Number two, also another important takeaway from COVID-19, learning together but staying apart. Yes, one features of the new normal is collaboration. This time, we need to learn more by being together. Learning together, you can learn with the members in the class in the household. You can learn with your classmates by forming your group chats. You can still do group tasks, but you are physically connected. And that is the beauty of it's another innovation. We become more connected, but even physically apart from each other. Number three, this has been an opportunity for building and rebuilding relationships, old and new. Yeah, with how many months we have been on lockdown, we have no other choice but to build and to rebuild broken relationships. We were able to build new ones because we have gotten another network. You have formed another group chat with people who are interested on online selling, or others who are good at reselling, or others who are good at this kind of craft. You have built another skill. You have learned a new skill in this kind of thing. You have enrolled in many courses. You have attended a lot of webinars in which your network has expanded. That was another beauty for this situation. Number four, we are a family, and that has been proven. Filipinos are very much known for having a very cohesive family orientation. And not only that, even you are not connected by affinity, you were able to establish another family because at some points or another, you have been instrumental in improving life of people. You have been a source of motivation to some. For students, you have been maybe a means of motivating someone, a classmate who was on a very desperate situation. You have extended that. You have built another family. You have sustained another relationship. And it is, if joy unites us, sorrows, problems, a situation like this also can unite us more as a family. And number five, and I hope that colleagues and students, you have to work on this one, you have to enhance on this one. Surely COVID-19 helped us establish a routine, and we have to stick on it. For students, since you are on learning remotely, you should have also your routine, because even when you are doing your learning activity online or openly or distantly, you need to establish a routine. You need to wake up at this time because your teacher will be having synchronous session. You need to deliver this task to your teacher at this particular time, and you have to stick to that in the same manner that when you were in the classroom for residential learning, you were able to establish a routine as well. Similarly, at this time that you are doing your things independently, remember that you will be doing your things independently, particularly in the asynchronous sessions, but it should not give us a license not to stick to routines. We have to discipline ourselves. We have to discipline ourselves so that we can get by this very challenging COVID-19 situation. And that routine has to be sustained. And of course, reshaping education would mean adapting the new normal. Of course, before, others do not take things seriously or sincerely. But now, as we are geared towards reshaping education, would also mean adapting new responsibilities, new routines, new relationships, and new ways of dealing our or doing our thing. And a part of City College way of embracing the new normal and reshaping the landscape of education, allow me to introduce to you these things. Others have known this one, have heard of me of this, but of course I cannot help but share this again with you. Again, as we are trying, as we are working together to reshape education at the City College, let me introduce to you this important dimensions of our life that we need to level up. City College has adopted the 7 C's of the new normal. And the first one is what we call creativity. Very beautiful. We need to be creative in doing our thing, the way how you are going to accomplish your tasks, the way how you are going to connect with your teachers, with your classmates, with your friends, with your family members. We have put that as number one thrust of the City College, developing our deep sense of creativity. Because if we are creative enough, even in the very challenging situation like this, we will be able to survive or to get by that particular situation. Number two, the next C that is very important for City College community is critical thinking. We go beyond the who and then the what if, or the what's rather. Instead, we now focus on how and why. How are we going to survive this kind of education? Why are we in this particular situation? And of course, we tend to formulate answers. We tend to formulate positive thoughts. And these are embedded on the manner we think critically. You have asked maybe yourselves, how else can you finish your course if there is no more old normal? If we are geared towards the new normal? Yes, of course. Your city college community will help you hone that. But of course, there should be some sort of initiative on your part to be able to enhance the way how we think critically. The third one is collaboration. A while ago, I was able to mention this one that gone were the days when we do our things in isolation. That was the very old normal. Today, or nowadays, we can best accomplish tasks with one another. Nowadays, you, students, can better present your outputs by working with one another, either with your classmates or your friends or your family members. Nowadays, we need to collaborate and we have to strengthen that. That will give you opportunity for learning a lot of things, the craft of your friends, the expertise of your classmate, the wisdom of your family members. We must be willing to take all of them so that we will grow much better person and a much better professional. The fourth one is communication. Another very important C of the new normal. How are you going to communicate your concerns to your teacher even though you are not seeing him physically? How are you going to raise your concerns about your classmate even without seeing your classmate personally? How are you going to communicate your thoughts to your community leaders? How are you going to communicate to your family members that at some points your means of communication will be the only one that will solve the situation of the family? it's very important that even with the very pressuring situations like this, there should be an open line for communication. Your friends, family members, school officials, community members, and to other stakeholders. I would like to commend our City College community because when the enrollment was in challenge because our students cannot go to school to enroll personally, our enrollment office, admission office, and of course, in coordination with some school officials, was able to come up with a mechanism that was able to connect and communicate to our students who are unable to come to school in person for the enrollment. And as a result, they were able to enroll themselves using that mechanism. And that is one example that would attest to the fact, the beauty of communication. And the more that we should be able to communicate so well, especially in this time of pandemic. The next C is connectivity. Wow, very important C. Of course, but connectivity here does not only mean connectivity to the internet because it might be a misnomer. Connectivity here means that your connection to people. You should be connected to people very important to you and even to the least important that you think. Connectivity would mean you need to get connected to your group chat, to your Google Classroom, to your teacher, to your school officials, community, because at this time of survival has come a long way for us. We are in the midst of a crisis in which we don't know when this will end. And that is why we should not detach ourselves from the people, from our school, from our peers, friends, acquaintances. Again, connectivity here does not only mean getting connected to the internet. Instead, this will just be an opportunity for us to enhance the way how we establish connection to people. And we need to enhance this. The next C is control. Wow. If your connection is lagging, if connectivity is lagging as what we have experienced a while ago, if relationships are in trouble, if you have a lot of submissions to be accomplished and to be given to your teachers, if you are beset with a lot of situations, remember, control yourself. You cannot control all of these things from happening, but you can control the way how you deal that particular thing. And there's a manner that, for example, you cannot control what other people will say about you, but you can control your emotions. You can control the way how you will handle that. You cannot control what the future will give us, but you can control the way how you will view the future. You cannot control what will happen tomorrow, but you can control what you will think of tomorrow. That is control. And the last C for the new normal is community and civic consciousness. My dear colleagues, my dear students, friends, acquaintances, family members, now we have to level up or step up the way how we show concern to our community. Wearing of face mask alone and observing physical distancing when we are out of our homes is being conscious of your community, is being conscious enough with other people, not engaging in activities that would sabotage the best intentions of your institutions and of your government, is being community and civic conscious. We are not born alone or to satisfy ourselves, but we are born for others as well. We have an obligation to the community and to other people. And with that, we can say that this pandemic gives us opportunity for dealing life much better than maybe what we have dealt with it before. Maybe this pandemic gave us opportunity to mature in wisdom and to learn new things that would better further rather enhance our craft, make us much better person, thus making us better professional in the future. And to continue, I promised myself that I will not make a very long talk. Allow me to share this with you that we sense that normal isn't coming back. As others would say, there is no more old normal, that we are born into a new normal. Let's accept that. Let's condition our mind that we are not going back to the old normal. A new kind of society. Yeah, if you will just go out, take a look of your surroundings, it's not anymore the kind of surrounding that we have used to see. A new relationship to the earth. Yeah, because you are building new networks now. We are engaging into different and new relationships with people, with peers, with colleagues, with friends and new acquaintances. We are geared towards gaining a new experience of being human. A wonderful thing. Again, if we cannot go back to that new normal, think that we are born into a new normal world, into a new kind of society in which in that new society we are establishing new relationships and new experiences of being human that you can share beautifully to your children and your children's children. And as I close, in closing, allow me again to extend my gratitude to the people who have been instrumental of this event. Professor Grace, Dr. Ryan Coronia, and of course, the men and women of the City College of San Jose del Monte, Bulacan. Mabuhay kayong lahat. God bless. Take care of one another. See you in better days. See you virtually one of these days. And see you physically at the campus. Mabuhay, Arya San Joseño. Salamat sa inyong lahat.
Hey, Doc.
Yes, Miss Grace. Hello, good afternoon.
Ayan, meron po tayong, good afternoon, Doc. Meron po tayong mga questions.
Okay.
Meron pa po ba tayong time?
Yeah. I would love to answer those queries of our students, even parents, because I think this will be a good opportunity for them to hear the answers of those questions. Okay, that would be nice. That will be okay, Professor Grace.
Yan, Doc. Coming from Miss Princess Caballero. Hi, good day. Para dun po sa mga nakapasa at may mga section na enrolled na po ba yon or kailangan pa po mag-register sa registration form or sure enrolled na sila siguro?
Okay. Thank you, Professor Grace. Hello, Miss Princess. Thank you for that good question. Hi, good day. Para po doon sa nakapasa at may section na enrolled na po ba yun or kailangan pa po mag-register sa registration form for surely enrollment papers. Okay, here's it. Miss Princess, those who are in the sections are already enrolled. Kaya lang, mayroon tayong tinatawag na dalawang forms of enrollment. Yung officially enrolled at saka yung mga temporarily enrolled. Those of you who have not yet submitted the papers are considered enrolled but temporarily enrolled. You still need to accomplish the form to be officially enrolled. I-ano nyo rin yung form na yan kasi may Google form naman na yan. You can just send that to Dr. Ryan or Professor Grace or to Miss Gwen, our registrar. Okay lang yan. Pero you still need to accomplish the form for you to be officially enrolled. Kinonsider lang namin yung temporary enrollment.
Another question po.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead.
I think this is with regards po sa modules, Doc.
Okay.
Tinatanong po niya kung paano po kung hindi makuha agad, I think, ang modules. Mayroon po bang consideration para makuha pa yon? Coming from Miss Villares.
Okay, what if hindi po agad makatch up ang modules na dapat kunin, especially kapag sa advisor mismo kunin? Is there a consideration para makuha po? Thank you, Professor Grace. Thank you, Miss Villares, for that question. One good thing about City College is that your modules are good for the entire term. So once you get your modules, they are good for the entire term. Now, what your teachers will just do, will just tell you every session that you need just to accomplish this particular task. Okay, in case you will not be able to get the modules, you have to email us, you have to email the registrar, the librarian, because the librarian has also a copy of the module, and the librarian can send you soft copies or a screenshot of those parts of the modules that you need to accomplish. As we have said, we will make sure that no one will be left out. No one will be missing their activities in the modules. Lahat kayo bibigyan ng opportunity ng inyong mga advisors, ng inyong school, para makakatch up po sa inyong mga activities na ibibigay sa module. Ng inyong mga teachers rather. Basta ang maganda sa City College, ang inyong mga modules ay nakadesign na yan for the entire semester. Kaya kayo din mismo, maaaring ang module na yan, aralin nyo na agad yan, alam nyo na yung inyong kailangan matapos na even before the end of the semester. Kaya saludo ako sa mga teachers natin kasi natapos agad talaga nila yung kanilang mga modules for the entire semester. Sana nasagot ko, Professor Grace, yung tanong ni Miss Villares ba yun?
Doc, may follow-up lang dun, Doc. Yung po
Okay,
bang
go ahead.
modules ay hard copy or soft copy?
Good question also. In fact, may nag-messages sa akin tungkol dyan. For now, we can only accommodate the soft copy of the modules. May soft copy lang kami ng mga modules. But we assure you that our library has some sort of minimal copies of physical copies of the modules. Ibig sabihin, kung wala kayong desktop sa bahay o laptop sa bahay, sa library, mayroong yang physical copy ang mga modules na po pwede nyong kuhanin nyo lang ng picture na lang at yun na lang ang isave niyo sa inyo para in case kailangan ninyong sagutan yun lang ang page na yun ang gagamitin ninyo. And besides, in case you don't have the printer or the opportunity to have this printed, you have to send an email to our librarian. It's in our website. She will provide that particular page that you need at isasend yun ng ating librarian sa inyo. Ito yung way natin para bigyan ng opportunity yung mga walang kakayanan na magpa-print lahat yan. Kasi ngayon, ang kaya lang nating i-provide with the limitations that we have are just the soft copies of the module. But again, we have at least enough copy for our students na physical copies ng bawat module na mayroon tayo ngayon. You can seek help from our librarian.
Okay, Doc, another question.
Kailan po malalaman kung sino po yung mga prof
Kailan
namin?
daw po malalaman?
Go ahead, Professor Grace.
Kailan daw nila malalaman, Doc?
Okay. Kailan po malalaman kung sino po yung mga professor namin per subject? Actually, ngayon meron na yan. Nung mag-enroll kayo, meron na yan talaga mga teachers na naka-assign doon. But of course, hindi pa namin inilagay yan kasi may mga adjustments pa katulad nga ngayon na may mga nadagdag pa ng mga estudyante. Medyo yung mga sectioning nag-adjust pa kami. So, na-finalize na namin yon pero last week lang. Pero meron na kayo noon. Kailan yung malalaman yan? Professor Grace will answer that. Kung kailan malalaman yung mga professors because nakalagay na lahat yan yung inyong mga professor per subject. Sige. Pero sigurado ako na mamimit nyo sila sa ating orientation sa City College kasi yun lang ang first time at saka last time nyo mag-a-attend sa City College. Professor Grace, kailan ba nila pa pwedeng makita yung mga teachers nila per subject? Sa Google Classroom na, di ba?
Actually po, yung ibang mga programs, meron na kasi silang, may kanya-kanya na po silang mga Facebook page na pwede nilang i-follow. Tapos, like BPE, nag-post na po si Ma'am Rosaline ng kanilang schedule.
Okay.
And yung EMC, I think,
meron na rin sila.
Nag-post na ng schedule. For the others naman, in the week or next week po, meron na din po yan for sure. Kung hindi man, for sure, next August 24, ayan, malalaman nyo na po ang inyong mga professor kasi mamimit nyo sila personally.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Grace. And I would like also to request the other program chairs to do the same thing like BPE and EMC. Kasi at least now, they already have formed their respective Facebook groups. Kasi syempre, excited na rin malaman ng mga estudyante ng ibang programs yung kanilang mga professors sa kanilang mga subjects. Okay. Sige, thank you. I hope it answered the question, ha? Okay.
So, Doc, for clarification lang po, kailan na po ba talaga ang simula ng classes at kung full online na po ba talaga tayo?
Yeah, it is already, we are on full distance or full online learning. Ang official start natin, pero orientation lang yan, is 20. Pero orientation lang kayo online ng inyong mga respective advisors. Wala kayong appearance sa school sa 20th. Ang makikipag-meet lang sa inyo ay ang inyong mga advisors. Kaya i-ready nyo na yung mga Gmail account ninyo kasi ang mga advisors ninyo will invite you through Google Classroom using your Gmail accounts. Yung mga wala pang Gmail accounts, please go to our Facebook page, there is an instruction there how you can create your Gmail account. Why? Because that's the only way you can connect to your teachers and you can connect to City College. Kaya kailangan nyo magkaroon ng Gmail account ninyo. Yung orientation sa August 20 will be held virtually. Yun lang yon. Tapos starting Monday, August 24, kung sino lang ang assigned na program, sila lang yung pupunta doon. For example, on Monday, it is only ano nga bang program yon, Professor Grace, pag Monday?
Entrep, Doc. Entrep.
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 Okay, Entrep pag Monday. Pag Tuesday, EMC yata. Okay. Pag Wednesday, wala tayo noon kasi college break ang Wednesday. Criminology pag Tuesday. O Professor Grace, pakiano nga sa kanila kung ano yung schedules nila pagpunta sa City College starting 24.
Okay. Tuesday, Criminology. Thursday, BPE and EMC. And Friday, BPA.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Grace. Thank you so much for that. Ayan. I hope it also answered the question. Yung 20th, wala sila, orientation lang yan. Ang advisor lang nila ang magkakandak ng orientation sa kanila.
Yung 20th, okay. Doc, online lang po yun, di ba? Hindi naman nila kailangan.
Online lang yan. Hindi nila kailangan pumunta sa eskwelahan. Kung pagka dry run yan ang kanilang gagawin sa online modality natin, no? Nagda-dry run sila niya sa 20th. Okay. Are there some more questions, Professor Grace?
Mom, I wash my hands already. I'm weary.
Wala na po akong nakikita.
Okay.
Sorry.
So, unless you have some other announcements, Professor Grace, okay, that is just timely. It's 1 hour lang talaga. Sabi ko talaga 1 hour lang dapat. Okay. Okay, baka may announcement ka pa dyan, Professor Grace?
So, yun lang, Doc. For all those who did online enrollment, kailangan natin pong mag-settle sa registrar's office before ng start ng classes or during the August 24, yung week na yon, or after the MECQ has been lifted para po maging official ang kanilang enrollment.
Got it. All right. All right. All right. All right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so if there is no more question, thank you so much for such another wonderful experience for this live stream. Thank you again, Professor Grace. See you in the campus. See you virtually for some. God bless. Ingat kayong lahat.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you po. So, ayan. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, remind ko lang po ulit, next week, meron pa po tayong series of webinars. So, please do attend. If you cannot attend synchronously, you can still check the videos on our YouTube channel. Thank you. Keep safe, everyone. Bye-bye.